Hi everyone, Tori here today with a new process video. I'm going to be doing a mood board mixed media canvas today. So let me just tell you about one of my favorite people in the whole world. Theresa from at Larkindesign is one of the most lovely people I have ever met in my entire life. She's a fellow YouTuber, and I know I've talked about her a number of times on my videos. And about a week ago, we did a little collaboration together on my December daily printables. So if you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link for you below. Or you can always go to my blog and find that as well. And I just love Theresa to pieces, and I am so excited because we have tons of ideas of how the two of us can work together in the future. So for today's video, what we decided to do was I was going to create a mood board for Theresa, and she was going to create a mood board for me. And I'm just showing you some of the items that she had on my mood board. It was a lot of like navy blues and deep burgundies, a light pink, and some copper tones. So I decided to use that as inspiration for a mixed media canvas. So I just want to like preface this by saying it looks ugly in the beginning, but then as it goes, it gets better. And I am so happy with the way that it turned out in the end. So I started with this probably 12 by 12 canvas from the dollar store. Really, it's super cheap. And I used some gesso just to prime it, and then I grabbed out some of my paints. So I'm using Dilutions paints here. The burgundy one is called Pomegranate Seed, and then the blue one that I just added is called London Blue. And those are, I think they're Dina Wakley paints by Dilutions. And I kind of wanted to just create a base for my mixed media. And I felt like those colors kind of picked up on some of the tones that were in the papers that I wanted to use, and then in the paintings as well, kind of like an undertone for it. And now what I'm going to do is just add some texture and some really subtle patterns. So it doesn't look subtle, but by the end you won't even really be able to see it. It'll just be very subtle if you're looking really closely. So I grabbed out this paper pad that I purchased at Michael's, and I just love the colors, and so I took a bunch of the papers that I felt like would work, and I'm just going to tear them up. And I picked the papers based on the colors, and I felt like these papers had some of the same colors that were in the mood board that Theresa had created for me, like that orangey copper tone, that light pink, like mint color, obviously the navy, and then I just really love that pinky burgundy color too. So it's not exact, and the reason it's not exact is because I don't really have anything in my stash that matched the mood board that Theresa created. But that's okay. I'm going with what I have, and I feel like this, in the end, it really does look similar to the mood board. You can for sure see the inspiration and where I got it. So what I'm going to do for the next layer of my canvas is to use some Mod Podge and stick down these scraps that I've ripped up all over the page. So one of the things I want to encourage you, I know often people watch my mixed media things and go, oh my goodness, I could never do that, or I don't know how to do mixed media. And like, let me just have a little confession time here. I have no clue what I'm doing, okay? Just like giant confession, I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know how to use the products properly, if there is a proper way to use it. I don't know if this is how you should be doing this to get the effect that you want. I have no clue, but I really just play and play and play and play. And one of the things I've learned about mixed media is layers are your friend. So there'll be gesso on top of paint, on top of paper, on top of another thing, on top of another thing, on top of another thing, and you just kind of keep going until you get the effect that you want, or you keep going until you get something that looks pleasing to you. Because like I said in the beginning, for a little while it'll look a little crazy and really bad, but then by the end you'll see that it really transforms. And that's just one of the things that I love about the process of mixed media, is as you're doing it, you might have an idea of what you want or where you're going, but the end is like a journey of discovery of what you're doing. And I would just really want to encourage you to try mixed media if you love it, if you love watching other people's, and if you think I could never do that, just like know that you absolutely could, because I always watch other mixed media artists like Irie Landgraf and Wilna Furstenberg, and I think to myself, I could never do that. But then the more you play, the more you practice, the better you get, and the more you realize like what kind of things work well together, what kind of things don't, and you learn from those experiences. And because I'm using just like a cheapo canvas from the dollar store, I probably paid like $3 or $4 for this canvas, so I'm not so worried about screwing it up. I'm just playing and having fun, and I realize worst case scenario, if I ruined it, I wasted like $4 and some supplies. But I learned something along the way, and I had fun. So definitely you should try some mixed media. Don't give up on yourself. I believe in you. So I'm going to skip ahead here so you guys don't have to watch me do that for a really long time. Like I said, it looks like a mess, but don't worry, it does get better. And now I'm just going to try to add some texture to the background. So just so you know, when I was looking at the mood board, there were a couple things that really inspired me. One of the things that really inspired me was the colors, but then the thing that inspired me the most about the whole mood board was the stars, and then the sentiment to like dream and to dream big. And I think one of the reasons that sentiment really inspired me was because it's kind of the kind of thing that Theresa and I have been talking about lately. We text all the time. I love that girl. She's so amazing. Okay, so we've been texting about it and talking about our dreams for the future and like kind of what we wanted to accomplish, what we want to accomplish separately, what we want to accomplish together, and just some of like where we hope to be in the future. And I think one of the things that Theresa has helped me realize along the way is that I don't believe in myself a lot. And like that may sound like a funny thing to say, but I don't. I don't believe that I'm like capable of accomplishing things. I think it's going to take forever or it's never going to happen. I don't really have a lot of faith in myself. Like, honestly, every single day that I look at my YouTube channel and see how many people have subscribed, I wonder to myself, like, why in the world it must be a mistake. Like, I don't know, like, I don't believe that people actually want to watch me. And, I mean, I know that's definitely a problem with my self-esteem, so I need to work on it. But another thing that Theresa has, like, been helping me realize through our conversations is, like, if there is a dream, a big, huge, amazing thing that you would like to accomplish, like, it is possible. It is something that you could do. You don't have to, like, dumb down your dreams and think that you're less than what you are. So I kind of wanted to make this mixed media canvas inspired by the mood board, but also inspired by the conversations that I've been having with Theresa and about how they've really helped me maybe look outside of myself and think, like, what are the things that I do want to accomplish? What are the hopes that I have for my future in this crafting industry? And what do I want to be a part of? And what do I want to try to do? And I feel like this mixed media canvas is like a letter to myself. It's a letter to Theresa. It's a letter to everybody that we should start believing in our dreams, that we should dream big dreams, that we shouldn't dream little ones, but we should dream big ones. So, I'm a little behind here because I was on my step here telling you all to dream big dreams. But basically, I had these star stencils. Some of them were from Studio Calico. Some of them I can't remember. And I used some modeling paste to stencil that. Then I took out these giant chipboard alphas, which I believe I got from last year's December Daily. I used gesso to paint them white because I didn't want them bright red, and I had to do like 4 or 5 coats, but that's okay. And now I'm just hot gluing those down to the background. And again, all of this is really just background. I'm not even on like the top layers yet. I'm just creating the foundation for what I want to create. And it creates a really detailed mixed media canvas. And one of the things I really want to encourage you with, if you want to do mixed media, is that mixed media is about layers, but it's also about creating depth. And when you have lots of layers of different things going on, it creates a lot of depth and interest and intrigue when you're looking at a project. It's one of those things where I love mixed media because it's not just something that you look at once and you understand, but you can look at it multiple times, and each time you look at it, you're going to see something new. So in my bedroom, I have probably 4 or 5 different mixed media canvases or projects that I've made along the time. And every day I wake up and look at them, and I am just amazed at how I like see new things every single day in them. I love that. So when I'm doing this, I'm kind of keeping in mind what my vision is for this mood board canvas. I'm also keeping in mind the things that I'm thinking about how I want to dream bigger dreams and really like to believe in myself. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I grabbed out a copper Recollection signature paint pen, and this was the only copper thing I had in my stash, so I was like, I better add some copper because that beautiful mood board had some copper. So I added some lines around the title just to add a little definition, and then I added some of the copper around the different stencils that I had put down just to add, again, some more definition. And it looks really messy, and I'm not trying to be perfect because I know that most of it's going to get covered up. It's just going to add a little bit to the background. Okay, so the next stage of this is the stage that everybody watching usually goes, oh my goodness, I can't believe you just did all that work and now you're covering it up. But I am. So what I did was I grabbed my gesso from my stash, and I'm using just like a paint sponge, and I'm gessoing over the whole entire thing. So like I said, all that stuff that you saw is really just background, which you're not super going to be able to see at the end, but it just creates layers and definition. So I know that there's somebody out there who's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you did all that just to cover it up. But the truth is, you can definitely see it when the gesso dries. You can still see the patterns and some of the shades of different colors. You can definitely still see the stars there, and you can still see the title. So it's still there. It's just kind of like hidden behind a wall of beautiful gesso. I love gesso. You know, I never realized how much I loved it until I started watching Theresa's videos, because that girl uses gesso all the time to cover things up. And at first I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're doing that. But then I realized along the way that gesso is like this beautiful like cloud over top of your mixed media layers that just creates this like really pretty effect. So don't stress. Use your gesso and enjoy it. I promise you'll like the end effect. So again, I'm just really getting in there. What I should have done, now that I'm learning from my mistakes, is I should have put the gesso down before I put the title Dream down, because it was kind of hard to get into the nooks and crannies. But in the end, it does work out just fine. So I grabbed out some of my mists, and that one I tried to use, but it didn't work. And now I'm going to do something really stupid, but I make it work. I took out that blue Dylusions paint, the London blue, and kind of just poured it on the canvas. I was trying to just get a little bit, but it kind of ran all over the place. That's okay. I mean, it's fine. I'm going to make it work. So I poured it at the bottom of the canvas, and then I grabbed a misting bottle with a bunch of water in it and just started misting like crazy. Oh man, I misted like crazy. I tipped it upside down and just misted and misted and misted and let that paint run all the way down the canvas. So what you'll see when you look at the mood board was that there was this one image where it was darker at the bottom and lighter as it went up with some stars on it. So I kind of wanted to recreate that on my canvas. So I'm using this London blue. I wish I had navy. I don't have navy. Navy would have definitely been better, but in the end, I'm going to add some black to it, and it does kind of make it a little darker later, but we're going to just start with this layer. So I added the paint to the top, and then I kind of just mist along the way. I use this giant paintbrush to just add it and just kind of paint along the way too. And then I'm just grabbing some of the paint that was left in my thing, but then it was kind of light, so I just grabbed it from the bottle too and just added some more darker paint near the bottom of the canvas, because I really want the bottom of the canvas to be really dark and I want the top of the canvas to be really light, almost like that gradient effect as you go up. So again, I was trying to make it even darker, so I grabbed this like navy blue gelato, and I color with that a lot along the bottom, and then I add water. I'm a little bit off screen, but it doesn't really matter because this didn't really do very much. So don't even worry about this stage. I probably could have skipped it. Again, like I said earlier, I have no clue what I'm doing. It probably did make it a little darker, but I don't think it really impacted the end result very much. So I sprayed it with some water, grabbed my paintbrush, and tried to like mix that in so that you wouldn't get that like clumpy gelato effect or anything. Okay, so then the next stage, which I'm doing now, and I'm really sorry I'm off screen, I wish that I wasn't, is I took some black Heidi Swap Color Shine and I'm misting it along the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to move this up in just a second so you can see. But what I have done is I've tilted my canvas slightly so that it's higher at the bottom, and I'm misting that black mist all the way along and kind of letting it run down. I don't want it to run down too far, so what I did was I grabbed a baby wipe and just kind of like spread it out to the distance that I wanted that black Heidi Swap Color Shine to go, and it wasn't dark enough, so I sprayed it again, and I end up spraying it like 3 or 4 more times just because I really want it to be super dark and rich at the bottom of the canvas. I also added some water just to make it run a little better. And because I didn't want it to run all the way down the canvas, I end up tipping the canvas the other way so that it runs down instead of up the canvas. And again, misting it some more, spraying some water, misting some more, and just getting that like deeper, darker color at the bottom. So once that was done and I was happy with it, I wanted some gold, some metallic color. Again, I really wish I had copper because that's what the mood board had, but I only had gold, so I was like, well, I love gold. So I grabbed gold Heidi Swap Color Shine and sprayed it all over the canvas, mostly at the bottom, but all throughout the canvas as well. And then I grabbed out these gold sequin stars that I had gotten from Michaels because I wanted to recreate that one image where there were these gold stars going upwards. So underneath those stars there was like a bright white, so I decided to do that. Looking back, I kind of wish I didn't, but I mean, you know what? You learn, you move on, and it doesn't, I don't hate it, I just kind of wish I didn't. So I grabbed my finger and I made spots where I wanted those stars to land. And then what I'm going to do is grab a paintbrush and add little tiny like lines and around those circles. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Wilna Furstenberg, like creating her little, like, I think she calls them embroidery lines around in her mixed media. And I just did a couple around each of the circles. So I'm going to just speed that up for you. And while I'm doing that, I am thinking about what else I want to add to this layout. And as I was thinking about it, I started thinking about this quote that I heard a long time ago, which I think throughout my life has meant a lot to me. And as I was thinking about the phrase dream, I thought about this quote by Marianne Williams, I think. Marianne Williamson, and it's actually the quote that I wrote in my yearbook as my like senior quote. I don't know, do they still do that? And I'm gonna write that out on the canvas because I wanted it to be a really good memory and memorial to myself to like really remember to dream and to not play small, but to envision big things and a big future. So I used my glue gun to glue down those stars inside of those circles. And then what I did was I grabbed out my gold stickles, which is from Rangers. It's like a gold glitter glue. And I'm going to add lines down from the dream. So in the image on Pinterest, it was kind of like boats, which had like a fishing line down to the stars. And I didn't want to do a boat theme, but I wanted to kind of have those lines because I kind of like how it drew your eye from the word dream all the way down to those stars, and also from the stars back up to the phrase dream. So I added those gold stickles to create lines. And then I also had some enamel stars from Close to My Heart, which I added on to the layout as well, just in the stars. Just wanted to create some more dimension, add a little more white as well. So I'm just going to kind of hold that up so you guys can see it, and I decided that one of the lines just needed a little more glitter glue. And the lines are not perfectly straight. If you wanted to make them straight, you could grab a ruler, but I kind of like the idea of having them a little willy wonky. I don't know. Okay, so now the next step was just to add some splatters. So on that one image that I popped up, there was like this really pretty galaxy effect, and it had these like white splatters all over that were just delicious. So I grabbed out some gesso, added a bunch of water to it to water it down, and then I just grabbed a brush, dipped it in the white, and kind of just splattered that all over. And I just love the impact that it gives. I noticed that some of that copper that I had drawn on earlier kind of disappeared with all the gesso, so I wanted to just add it back. So I grabbed that Copper Recollections pen again and just drew around some edges of the letters Dream and used my finger to smudge it. And I just kind of was hoping that it would stand out a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to add that quote that I was telling you about, and I decided to just add it in a black Sharpie pen along the bottom of the canvas. And if you look closely, you can read it. From far away, you can see that there's something down there, but you can't really read it. You need to get close, which I kind of like the idea of like forcing somebody to get up close and personal with the canvas to really see what it says. So while I write that out, I just want to read you this quote because I think it's a super powerful quote. Again, it's by Marianne Williamson, and it reads, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." And I just really love that quote because I think it speaks to how we need to let our light, not our darkness, shine, how we need to stop playing small. I think as women, we tend to like play small and put ourselves down or not see who we really are. And I love that question. Who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Like, seriously, we think to ourselves, like, how in the world could anybody think that we're good enough? And I've talked about this in the past on my channel, about how it kind of surprises me, how I have people following me, and I don't think I'm very good. And then people say I've inspired them, and I'm like, what? I inspired you? Like, that's crazy, because other people inspire me, so I can't imagine that I would inspire people. But who are you not to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Like, seriously, we need to let our light shine. We need to dream big dreams. We need to be liberated from our fears and our worries about the future and of what we could accomplish, and start dreaming to ourselves, like, big, huge, audacious dreams, and think, like, that's something that I want, and that's something that I'm actually going to try to accomplish. So, anyways, I'll get off my soapbox there, but that quote just really meant a lot to me, and as I was doing this canvas, I was thinking about it, so I really wanted to add it onto the bottom of the canvas. And as you can see, it kind of just darkens up that bottom section, but you can't really see it from far away. You need to get close to see it. So I'm almost done, but I felt like I wanted to add some more of that burgundy back into the layout, or back into the mixed media canvas. So I grabbed out that pomegranate Dilutions paint again, and I just grabbed this sponge brush almost and kind of just sponged it on just really lightly, but creating kind of like a glow of that burgundy, or that glow of that pomegranate color. And I'm also going to grab some white and do that too. And I feel like the effect that it gives it is, again, just one more layer of definition. But it also reminds me of that image of the sky where it's kind of darky blue at the top, but it's got like light creams and light burgundies like in the middle area. So I kind of wanted to just bring that in again. And then I just grabbed out my white gesso just to add a little more white. And I kind of just wanted to, my hope was to just lighten the top even more. And also to just add like a kind of like a white hazy effect almost at the top of the layout. And I am almost done here. You guys will see it at the end. I'm going to show it up when I'm all finished. And I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Thanks so much, Theresa, for the inspiration for this like incredible mixed media canvas, for pushing me outside of my comfort zone, reminding me to dream. I just love it. So if you guys want to go see out the layout that Theresa created with the mood board that I created for her, go check out her channel. I'll leave a link for her below. She is crazy talented, and I can't wait to see what she created. So go check her out as well. If you want to see close-ups of this project, head over to my Instagram or head over to my blog at toribissel.com. I have more pictures up there. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribing so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thanks so much. I hope you have a lovely day.